to the Vault Excel. This is live number 2. Please check out the YouTube queue for my last video pertaining to 22-year-old Mizzou student Riley Strain. This next live is pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. There is new video that has been released to the public pertaining to flashlights in the backyard. We're going to watch that video. We're also going to watch commentary pertaining to him being missing and try to figure out what happened to this boy child. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is live number 2. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $, Beganzi, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are welcome during this live stream. Live number 2, everybody. I believe this is WKRN News. Is the source of this information. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to turn this around. Just a second. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to my lab, everybody.
Well, Sebastian Rogers is still. The search began on February 26th and includes hundreds of officials from across the state. Peyton Kennedy is here now with an update on those search efforts.
And Nicole, it was a tireless search that did scale back on March 4th. I spoke with the Sumner County EMA director this morning. He says now their hope is that Sebastian simply outwalked the search radius, and that is why they haven't been able to track him down yet. So when the search officially began on February 26th, it was about 11 a.m. That's 11 hours since Sebastian was reportedly last seen by his mother. So the EMA director says it's possible he had enough time to get out in front of officials. So while a physical search is not active in Sumner County, they still have a small command post running in Hendersonville with canines, drones, and other resources on standby if any leads come forward. He says the biggest thing right now is to continue spreading the word about Sebastian. And many community members have taken it upon themselves to hang and distribute flyers near and far in hopes that someone recognizes Sebastian. One woman tells me she's even sponsored posts on social media to help it reach audiences in the places Sebastian has lived previously. Missing person billboards are still up in Middle Tennessee for Sebastian. If you know anything, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
So now you hear that
Sebastian Rogers.
So now you hear that he also has billboards. So we have Mr. Riley Strain with billboards up, and also this missing boy child, Sebastian Rogers. Let's go on to the belly of the beast. News Channel 5 is the second source pertaining to videos, surveillance near the home or at the home. I'm trying to figure out who has this video surveillance in their own house of this common area. You can be the judge. I'll bring you more commentary by article to elaborate on this said storyline. Thank you for joining me. Brief intermission. Oh, Lordy. Tennessee is getting a bad rap right about now.
Sebastian Rogers, who's been missing for 18 days. An exclusive look at new video evidence. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Rory Jones.
And I'm Hunter Hope with a lot to get to here tonight. Authorities have scrutinized home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood, trying to learn what happened to that teen with autism.
Now you can take a look for yourself. Our Nick Barris obtained video that appears to show 2 people near Sebastian's home the night his parents say he disappeared.
The video you're about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home. It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very big, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know, there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared. Could one of these subjects have been Sebastian? Did he eat and leave with someone? Sebastian's father says his son would not go with a stranger.
It's up in the air for me because I don't think he would get into a vehicle with somebody unless he knew them.
So what exactly are we seeing here? I know investigators are doing what they can to try enhancing the video for any more clues. For now, this video is now part of the Sebastian Rogers missing person file, and I'm told it could become more significant depending on where the ongoing investigation leads. We'll be following that. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Nick. Of course, the search for Sebastian continues, with detectives now looking into any possibility of foul play. If you think you can help, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
So you see, you never know where a story is going. Foul play, no foul play. Let's go into the belly of the beast and read some commentary pertaining to this boy child. Thank you for joining me. News Channel 5 Nashville is the first source I'm going to read to you. It's just recapping what you've already. A surprising development in the search of Sebastian Rogers, who has now been missing for 18 days. An exclusive look at video evidence. Authorities have scrutinized home security video from the Hendersonville neighborhood, trying to learn what happened to the teen. Security camera video appears to show two people near Sebastian's home the night the 15-year-old disappeared. The video is from early Monday morning, February 26, around 3:10 a.m. There are no street lights in this Stafford Court neighborhood. It's pitch black at night. What you will see are just two specks of light and people with flashlights moving in the area around Rogers' Hendersonville home. It's believed Sebastian left his home barefoot, flashlights sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues. We have had several clips that have come in, said Eric Craddock. Hold on one second. Sumner County Chief Deputy. And one is getting the most attention, shows signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see two light sources, which we circled to help follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointing toward the back of Sebastian's home in the common area in the video. You see subject 1 with the light source in the lower right corner. So now you got to ask that question. If it's pointing toward the back of the home, this camera, then one would assume this is the camera from their own house. Their house or a neighbor's house. Take your pick. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1 a few seconds later then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 appears, follows subject 1 off screen. So that means subject 2 was following subject 1 with the flashlight. So you don't know who's subject 1, you don't know who's subject 2. We also got information from the mother that possibly he left on foot with a flashlight. Then a short time later, it's very vague, but you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area. So that means the person was coming back, what, towards the house, back door of the house? Then where's the other person? If we're to believe these people actually are going back into this house that belongs to this family. It's very interesting. It says one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area. Is that going back into a door? And that's it. But investigators say the mere fact someone was there outside Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared. Could one of these subjects have been him? Did he meet and leave with someone? Sebastian's father says his son would not go with a stranger. It's up in the air for me, he said. He would not get in a vehicle unless he knew them. So what exactly does the video show? Investigators are doing what they can to try to enhance the video. for more clues. For now, the video is part of the Sebastian Rogers missing person file, and I'm told it could become more significant depending on where the investigation leads. The search for Sebastian continues, but authorities are now also continuing to investigate the possibility of foul play. If you can help, call 1-800-TBI-5. Channel News 5 Nashville is the source. So who was in the backyard? Is the camera source a camera belonging to the family? The mother believed he left with a flashlight, and how convenient we now have video coming out that somebody's back there with a flashlight. So did this surveillance information come from them, and they checked their surveillance, and that's why she told the public he went out with a flashlight, because she already knew he left with a flashlight because she went and looked at her security camera. Well, if we're to believe it's him out there with a light source, who is the other person? Were they playing a game, hide and go seek? Has he been talking to somebody that his parents didn't know about? Was he keeping it a secret? Did somebody knock on a door or window? He came out? What is really going on? Is there family members involved in this disappearance of this child? Mother, stepfather, father? Is somebody lying to the public? What is the truth? You also heard in the first video that this EMT director is hoping he walked past the area they searched. Well, some people are going to find that comment. Why would you want him to walk past where you searched? Then that means he could be anywhere if he was actually on foot. That's not a good thing to say, in my opinion. We hope he walked past the area we searched. So did a dog hit on a scent? I'm going to bring you that information as well about a dog scent. His shoes being accounted for. The mother believing that he left out on foot and with the flashlight. Did she check all shoes he wore, had, so on and so forth? What is the truth pertaining to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? Let's hear from a family member. Daily Mail is the source. The father of an autistic boy missing for 2 weeks fears his son may not have simply wandered off after vanishing from his home. Sebastian Rogers, 15, is believed to have left his family home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, with a flashlight in the early hours of February 26. Police and volunteers spent the past 2 weeks searching nearby woods, blasting Eye of the Tiger, which is Sebastian's favorite song. Almost 100 miles north, Kentucky, state police searched a landfill in Hopkins County for clues, but came up empty. Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, said he was at his wit's end trying to work out what happened to his own son with no leads that make sense. One second. He said Sebastian was not one to wander off, and due to an experience as a young boy, would never go far without shoes on. He decided he wanted to step into what he thought was dirt. It was fire ants, and since then he doesn't like his feet in dirt. He likes to have his shoes and socks on, he told WTVF. Rogers was also confused about why so little trace of his son could be found, saying there were missing pieces to the puzzle. Rogers was also confused, sorry about that. The information that I've gotten from Sumner County and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and the fact that dogs aren't 100%, they're not picking up his scent, he said. Okay, I don't know what that means. One dog tracked him to a construction area over there, and it's just disappeared, and it's confusing. There are missing pieces to the puzzle, and I'm having difficult solving this. So how far is this construction area to the house at Stafford Court? Searches were scaled back last week, and Rogers hoped the tip-off to police would help track his boy down. Now you have to ask, why have they scaled back the search for Sebastian Rogers? Has the investigation took a turn, and they might have an idea pertaining to suspects and location, but they're not telling the general public. The landfill police search is believed to be where the trash from Sebastian's neighborhood went to on the day he went missing. There is no specific information that indicates evidence related to the search for Sebastian may be there. Rather, it is an investigative precautionary measure to eliminate possible options and questions, they said. Sebastian's mother, stepfather Katie, and Chris Proudfoot last week said they felt overwhelming, helpless, and hopeless grief. The parents detailed the circumstances surrounding Sebastian's disappearance. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Given how normal everything was, it came as a complete shock to Katie Proudfoot when she went to wake her son up for school and he wasn't there. They don't know what would have prompted their son to disappear in the woods in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which lies on the outskirts of Nashville. The day before, Sebastian, who loves games, has been described as smart, had been laughing and joking. Sebastian's mother pointed out that it would make more sense if we'd been fighting. He hadn't even been in trouble, Sebastian's stepfather observed. Katie Proudfoot explained to the interviewer how about 3 minutes after she found Sebastian's bed empty, she knew something was wrong. She called her husband, who was at work in Memphis, and told him that Sebastian wasn't in the house. The boy's mother searched for him everywhere, running all over the house, outside, inside. She looked for him in every closet. They called the sheriff's office and made a report, and the authorities responded within minutes. She said it was rapid fire. They had cars from here down to the main road. An Amber Alert was issued, and state and local forces deployed helicopters, drones, boats, horses, and search and rescue dogs. Hundreds of trained professionals and volunteers descended en masse to look for Sebastian, combing through 2,000 miles of terrain on foot. Among the professionals, there were even mountain and cave experts. At one point, a drone was rigged with a speaker that was playing Eye of the Tiger on a loop. The Rocky theme is Sebastian's favorite song, and authorities were hoping the song might lure him out of the woods if he was hiding. Throughout their interview, Sebastian's parents continued to be resolutely optimistic, and a note of sincere hope underpinned their answers. He's gonna walk through that door, and the street will be flooded again, with family and relatives all waiting to hug him and love him, Sebastian's stepfather said. After pausing for a moment, Sebastian's mother added, "That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home." Well, that sounds all good, but we're now talking about 3 weeks and no Sebastian. You believe he walked outside barefoot with a flashlight. We now get information that all shoes are accounted for, and that now we have video surveillance of him being in the backyard, perhaps with the flashlight with somebody else. So if we're going to believe that's him back there, who is the other person? Could it be this was a setup, child outside and play a game to get him gone by someone? And who would that someone, plural, be? Because if the house wasn't broken into, you don't have anything showing strange cars in the neighborhood, strange people walking through the people's backyards, because as you saw in this video, the houses do face other houses from behind. So people could have cameras to also have a view of their house and yard. Because I asked that question last week. Were there houses that sat behind their house? And yes, there are houses sitting behind most of the houses. And obviously the surveillance is coming from their house. So what is really going on pertaining to this boy child? Let's hear what TBI has to say about this case. And then I will read you more information. Thank you for joining me, everybody.
From the TBI in a search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. The TBI says multiple agencies are still closely investigating what happened to the Sumner County teen. Officials say he vanished from his Hendersonville home in late February. The TBI maintains there is no indication of any criminal action in the case. But at the same time, there isn't proof of the opposite either. The agency says it has few clues and is asking people in the area to keep searching their property.
Keep searching your property. What else are we going to find out about this missing kid? Home security video shows somebody in the backyard with flashlights. Father has spoken out that he wouldn't get in a car with a stranger. Let's see what the Tennessean has to say about this case pertaining to the boy child. You're welcome, sweetheart. Bringing you all the latest information, everybody. This is uploaded March 14th. Though search efforts have been scaled back, Tennessee authorities say they remain committed to finding Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, the 15-year-old Hendersonville boy who was reported missing almost 3 weeks ago, but leads remained sparse and officials were vague when it came to discussing the teenager's whereabouts this week as investigators continue to see clues in a case that sparked a statewide Amber Alert and triggered the search of a Kentucky landfill without success. Sebastian was last seen February 26 near Stafford Court in Hendersonville. The boy's family said he walked out of their Hendersonville home between midnight and 6 a.m. and they learned he was missing when his mother, Katie Proudfoot, tried to wake him up for school. There have been no sightings of Sebastian. Hold on one second. Moving a little fast there. There have been no sightings of Sebastian and no evidence pointing to his whereabouts as of Thursday, officials said, leading many to worry for the teen's safety. An investigation into Rogers' case has been running concurrently. Since search and rescue efforts began, TBI spokesperson Susan Nyland said Wednesday, though she remained vague about the nature of the investigation and whether the case has turned criminal. At this stage in investigation, there's no evidence that criminal activity is involved. There is also no evidence that criminal activity is not involved. So until information develops that directs it one way or the other, all options are being considered and pursued, Nyland said. TBI agents and intelligence analysts are pursuing leads in the case after receiving more than 100 tips about Sebastian, Nyland said, adding that none of them have been credible. The TBI says Sebastian was wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, glasses at the time he went missing. Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock previously told the media that Katie Proudfoot said all her son's shoes were accounted for at the family's home. All shoes accounted for, everybody. Craddock did not return calls or emails seeking an update on the investigation this week. He is 5'5", 120 pounds, dirty blonde hair. He is autistic and believed to be without his medication. Hundreds of people have searched the area around the Rogers home after the boy's disappearance. They're covering thousands of miles in and around Hendersonville. Storm drains, garages, crawl spaces have all been targeted in searches. Aircraft, drones, SWAT teams, night vision, canines, horses, all have been used. Craddock has said in previous interviews that the boy's family has been cooperative with the investigation. Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, said during a live stream interview that his family has been harassed since the teen went missing because he is involved in a custody battle in another state. What is factual is the father, the mother, and myself have been extremely cooperative, he said during the interview. We have been vetted. We have been checked out. We have been questioned and everything of that nature and literally have been cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any other family. Once again, this is from Mr. Chris Proudfoot, the stepdaddy, husband of the mother. They have been vetted, checked out, questioned, everything in nature, literally cleared. No wrongdoing, no negative input from the parents or from the family. But will the police say the same, Mr. Proudfoot? The search for Sebastian led to a Kentucky landfill where trash from the family's home is sent. No leads or evidence was discovered during that search. For more information to the whereabouts of Sebastian, please call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-442-1865. You also can relay tips to 615-451-3838 or 1-800-TBI-FIND. The Tennessean is the source of this information. This is article number 3, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Source number 4, WKRN is this source's information. Handmade flyers are posted throughout Wilson and Sumner counties as the search for missing teen Sebastian Rogers continues. It has been 18 days since the search for Sebastian, 15, began. Authorities searched nonstop on land, water, air with no leads. The search has scaled back, shifting into an investigation. From the beginning, a Facebook group called Finding Sebastian Rogers has kept community members updated. One group member, Shauna Benura, told News 2 she took it upon herself to ensure the flyers hung up in Wilson and Sumner County were up to date with the number of days missing, the latest information, and its description. It's that writing and that knowledge daily so that people know this child has not been found, said Benura, flyer designer and distributor. We are still looking for him, and just to keep that public pressure, if you see something, say something. Benura explained when she first started making flyers from the information provided by Sumner County Sheriff's Office, she used the provided black and white photo of Sebastian, but now she's switching to a colored photo recently shared by the family. We want to keep Sebastian's face and name and everything up because we have an epidemic already of children going missing, Benura said. You get Amber Alerts consistently. It's so easy to, put it back in your pocket and you forget after a couple of hours. Benura sometimes works to hand make and distribute these flyers using the mobility of her car, a coffee shop, or wherever she happens to be when she has free time. I get somewhere where I can set up my mobile command area and I grab my craft bag. It's got all of my markers and double-sided tape, she explained. We use different colored markers to draw attention, so it's not just a standard document print looking. Benura then locates any high traffic locations without a flyer on their door or window and begins to make the rounds from store to store. She has made 500 flyers so far and updates 50 flyers each day. I am also going to be making some lanyards, some laminated little Sebastians with the facts on the back of them. I do have those to make keychains for, and I will just be giving those out just like I would a flyer. She added that the goal behind this is just to see Sebastian come home safe. What we do know is that Sebastian is physically out there somewhere, and everybody needs to continue to remain diligent and vigilant in their searches. That's from Miss Benura, WKRN News. So flyers are going around. He also has billboards up, just like Mr. Riley Strain from Missouri, who's also missing. I also saw a report that a 15-year-old boy was sexually assaulted in a Nashville park. And I find it interesting that this boy child is also 15. So are we talking about someone who could possibly be out looking for children, meeting with children to sexually assault them? Just throwing that out there. Because this is also local news pertaining to a boy assaulted in a park. And Nashville isn't too far from this area. Are we talking about a sadist out looking for children? I haven't the foggiest idea. But I know there's something sinister with this video. And if I'm to believe it's coming from the house, who would the other person be with the flashlight if I'm going to believe that this child was the one with the flashlight? Either one or two. Was he lured out by a stranger? Number one. Was he lured out by his parents? Number two. Or a relative or a neighbor? Because we don't hear anything of strange cars being parked. We hear it's pitch black out there, no street lights, which is dangerous. They should have street lights. I'm sure they're paying a hefty mortgage out there where they live. They should have street lights. This is crazy to me. Why not? Very, very strange. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vault XL. Where is this boy child? What is this business of flashlights in the backyard? This is so bizarre to me. And like I said, the mother possibly already knew that he went outside. That's why she said it, because she already looked at the surveillance cameras from her house, if we're to believe this camera footage is from her home. They say common area, which leads us to believe it's their proximity to their house. Instead of just saying backyard, they say common area. This is some crazy nonsense that is going on here. Thank you, Lolo. Thank you. This is just so crazy to me. You got this EMT director saying, I hope he didn't walk past the areas we searched. Well, obviously he went somewhere because you don't have him. You don't have video of him. You don't have adequate search dogs sent. You're talking about a construction site. You didn't tell us how far the construction site is from their home. A mile, half a mile, a block, across the street, around the corner. It's just ridiculous. Where is this boy child? You hear this stepfather saying everybody's been vetted, checked into, we're not suspects. Well, until I hear it from police and TBI, I'm not betting that you're not a suspect, because now this is an investigation, okay? So it's easy for you to tell us the version you want to spin to the public, but until I hear it from police, I am not going to say you, your wife, and the father are not suspects. Because we have seen thousands of cases of missing people, dead people, where the suspect got on the news and moaned and groaned. They don't know what happened to the person. They don't remember seeing them, blah, 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 blah. They didn't do nothing. And the next thing you know, you don't hear nothing from them. They don't go to vigils. They don't go to searches. They stop talking. They hire a lawyer. And then next thing we know, they're fucking arrested eventually for the murder of somebody or the disappearance of them. So I'm not banking on you not being a suspect, sir. You've got some family business in a whole nother jurisdiction with custody. What's that all about? And then I started thinking today, and don't mind me when I say what I'm going to say, because everything's hypothetical. I read this story, and the first thing I said was, okay, he's fighting for custody. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? How old is the child? Why does he want custody of the kid? And then all of a sudden, here's a whole kid in his house missing. So I said, well, hell, maybe he wanted this kid to be here because he don't want her kid. Let me say it again. Allegedly, he's fighting for custody of his child in another jurisdiction. Why, I don't know. What's happening with that parent, I don't know. DHS involved, don't know. But what is odd, stay woke, everybody. You're fighting for custody of another child that don't even live in Hendersonville, and then poof, voila, this child goes missing in your damn house while you're trying to fight for another child to come stay with you. You all don't find that kind of odd? I do. Oh, Lolo, I know you always listening. Thank you, baby. See, I pay attention to stuff. I don't listen to all that he said, she said stuff. What do I always say? Bring me a receipt. So that's what I listen to. I listen to he said, I listen to the receipt. I don't listen to all that fluff of domestic violence and this, that, and the other. I don't want to hear none of that shit. If it ain't got a receipt, I don't want to hear it. Bring me a receipt, then I'll listen. I find it very interesting. The stepfather's fighting for custody of another child, and then in his own house, a child that's not his is poof, voila, gone. Almost 3 weeks. Now, one could say this is just a coincidence. And in life, we do have coincidences. But you have to admit it's interesting if it's true. So is it true, sir, Mr. Proudfoot? Are you Indian? Native American? What's going on? Are you fighting for custody of a said child? Number one. Why do you want that child? What's going on with that child and that mother for you to want custody? How long have you been fighting for custody? Does the child even want to live with you? And what the fuck is going on with this missing child out of your house? I'm not here to say they did anything to the little boy. I'm not here to say his own father did something. But now we got video of somebody in that yard playing around with flashlights, and the mother, ding, 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 she's the first one to say, he took a flashlight with him. He took a flashlight with him. He ain't got no shoes on. So you went looking for all his shoes when you realized he was missing. Could be, JB, could be. So Mrs. Proudfoot, your baby missing. At what point did you go count all his shoes? I'm curious. Day one? That morning? that afternoon? Just curious. Let me say this. I don't know what happened to Sebastian, but I pay attention to the details. And I know that most people who are murdered in their home are found without shoes on. Checkmate. Say it again, Queen. When people are murdered by their family, they don't have on shoes when they're found. Okay? Because you don't need shoes where you're going. Hello? You don't need on shoes where you're going. Because there's no plan for you to come back. Now, you are unalived in the street. When you're found, you possibly have your shoes on. Uh-oh. Say it again, Queen. They don't hear you. When you are murdered in the street, you may be found with your shoes on, unalived. But when you're unalived in your house, in the company of somebody that you knew, you may be found without your shoes on. So what the hell is really going on at this house? It's just a setup to get rid of a boy child. Somebody lured him out with a flashlight from his own house, played a little game with him, and got him missing deliberately. Number two, somebody else is out there waiting with this play game, hide and go seek, flashlight game, and they lured the child off and discarded the child. Unalived the child and discarded the child somewhere. What the hell is going on here? Because now this is even more bizarre. Flashlights in the backyard, close proximity to the house. One person goes out of frame, and then you don't see the child no more. Or whoever else is out there. Because we don't even know who the hell got the damn flashlights. But they say one person comes back with the flashlight in the common area. So what is the common area? The backyard, the back door. So that means somebody else is probably out there with the other person with the flashlight. You understand what I'm saying? Because you only see two light sources in this depiction on the video. But I got a feeling we're talking about maybe 3 people. Stay woke. 3. One person took the child out. The other person lied in wait. Person lured the child out with the flashlight, and somebody else out there was in the dark waiting and took the child on. Is that what happened? Child was deliberately taken out to be hurt and discarded. The child has met with somebody that the parents don't know about and went out with the flashlight and lured out by that person. What is the truth? Because this is crazy. Bonnie says I'm going with version number 1. 3 people? 3 people involved? Or version 3. Somebody from the house took him out with the flashlight, pretending to play a game, and they choked him, strangled him, suffocated him out there in the dark. But then where that's going to be a problem is how did you dispose of him? Okay? How did they dispose of him? Because then that means you would have had to what? Bring him back in the house and take him out and dispose of him to later get up and call the husband and then also call 911 to say he's missing. So that means you would have had to bring him back in the house and take him out by car or something, or put him in the trash and have him dumped. But they said they didn't find him at the landfill. So what is really going on? Is somebody in that house, Mr. or Mrs. Proudfoot, responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? Is his biological father responsible for his disappearance? Is a neighbor responsible for his disappearance? Did he meet somebody who's a friend and they went to play a game and then maybe met up with somebody else outside? I don't know. The mother says he did not have any outside friends except for the ones at school. He's not on social media, doesn't have access to social media. This is so bizarre. Between Riley Strain, a 22-year-old missing, and this kid missing, you don't know what to think about any damn thing. You've got one that's this little missing, not seen. Then you got one great tall, almost 7 foot tall. He's missing out of Nashville. So it goes to show you, doesn't matter the height, the weight, you can get gone, okay? You can get gone. Where do you say you hope they search Memphis? Well, you got to prove he took him down there. That means he wasn't gone then if he went to Memphis. That means the husband was still there. Just saying. Country says, I think he was dead before the mother said he was missing. I'm wondering if the stepdad's trip was really a chance for him to get rid of the kid. Let me say this, because you all are not listening. The people on the camera, it's 3 in the morning. Okay? It's 3 in the morning. So somebody was on that property at 3 a.m. unless they doctored the CCTV footage. So he couldn't have been dead if we're to believe that's him out there. Now, if it's a setup, he could be dead already. And the mother and whomever are out there pretending to play around with flashlights to make it look like somebody came on the property and stole the child or lured him out. I don't know what the hell's going on with this case, because now it's become bizarre with this flashlight business. And the fact that she's the first one to mention flashlights to the public. I find that ironic. But then, as I said, the flip of the coin could be she already looked at her surveillance cameras and saw what looked to be flashlights moving around in the yard. He's missing, and his flashlight is missing. All shoes are accounted for. So what's really going on with this story? Is this a setup to make it look like he and somebody was out there? But he wasn't out there with a flashlight. An abductor wasn't out there with a flashlight. He was already dead. So, country, is that what you're trying to say? This was a setup to make it look like he went outside, he was playing, somebody lured him, somebody met him out there. Because in the end, they say only one person walked back with the flashlight. And that's even more crazy, because then you've got to ask, then where did the other person go with their flashlight? Stay woke. They cut it off and walk back in the house. Is this a dirty game to rid oneself of a 15-year-old autistic boy? What happened to this child? Okay? Because something sinister has happened. And then I brought you commentary that a young boy in the Nashville, Tennessee area was assaulted by a grown man in a park, and he just so happened to be 15 years old. Is there a sadist out there stalking children? Okay? Is there a sadist stalking children? Is this an inside job to make it look like the child wandered off with somebody else? Did somebody from the house pay somebody to come lure him out of the house and take him somewhere? And he is possibly alive, or the worst case scenario. I don't know really what to think, because I don't know these people. I don't know their attitudes, their disposition. I don't know their financial situation. I don't know what's really going on with Mr. Proudfoot trying to get custody of his child, why he wants custody of that child. But I will say it's very odd that he's seeking custody and the child is actually living in his house has vanished. Hello, Sharon. Thank you for joining me. This is wicked, because what's going to be bad is if we find out this was an inside job to make it look like somebody lured him away. And possibly he was already dead, and they were playing out there with flashlights to trick police, to trick TBI, to trick the sheriff's office that the child was lured or he went out there looking for somebody. Is that the case? Or are we talking about three people? Mommy, daddy went out there, took him out there to play a game, and third person lied in wait, took the child off. Where is Sebastian Rogers? Is he alive, or is he deceased? Will we find out the truth? Because when they are children, they are obviously easier concealed than adults. And I guess it also depends on who's doing the concealing. But this is baffling. Thank you for joining me. One moment, please. Chris Storms, I see that food you cooked. Looking good, looking good. Please check out my friend, Mr. Chris Storms. He talks about a lot of true crime stories. Fifth marriage. How did you find that out? That's a lot of people. Stepdad doesn't have a good record. What about child support? I don't understand. Hello? Oh, Lord. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I can get the mouse to work on that volume. What do you have to say about this information of this flashlights in the back common area? Do you believe that this video footage is from the house itself?
I think it's the house either beside them or behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the lights that are stationary are the floodlights.
Who said anything about some stationary?
There's two bright lights that kind of stay in the same area all the time, not the little flashy ones. Not the ones that they labeled subject 1 and subject 2, the other ones.
Okay. Sharon says, really, that should be a red flag for cops. What should be a red flag? That he's got 5 wives? What are you saying? Wonder if Ellie still has Bio Dad's phone that took him from him. Didn't they say in a recent call that Ellie took that? Oh, I haven't heard anything about that. So, what do you think is going on with the lights?
I don't know. From my understanding, it was considered a common area, and it looks like there might be a walkway through there. So I don't know if it was someone walking their dog, someone playing tag, whatever the deal is.
At 3 in the morning.
The problem is...
Wait, slow down. At 3 in the morning.
Yes. And the other problem is the date. It was the same night or into that morning that
okay, listen.
Sebastian supposedly
It's 3 o'clock. It's 3:10 in the morning. I'm assuming the lights are coming from their house because you got to remember something. This is why I tell you people don't listen. She's the first person to talk about flashlights. You don't find it strange 3 fucking weeks later we're hearing about flashlights in the backyard?
Not really, because of what she's already said. That we already know they play with flashlights.
I don't know that.
Well,
I didn't know that.
In her commentary, what she said was, he had a flashlight.
Okay, but just because I have a flashlight don't mean I play with them with you.
No.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, it's just strange to me that you're the first person to mention flashlights in a story, and voila, 3 weeks later, here's a video of flashlights allegedly in this common area. So my mind starts to wonder if perhaps this was a setup, because you are the first one to mention flashlight. He has a flashlight. The flashlight's missing. He's missing. He left with no shoes on. I always thought that was strange. How do you know that he left out with no shoes on? Okay, now we're hearing you accounted for all his shoes. So he had to have been bare feet. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like something is strange. Could be just coincidental. It's just weird to me.
Well, what I chalk it up to is Mommy and Stepdaddy were doing something they should have been doing.
Like what?
Who am I to say?
I don't know what you're saying.
They were, okay, here's my thought on the subject. Allegedly, Stepdaddy is parked at the construction area that runs not too far from their house. Mm-hmm. And Mommy is helping Stepdaddy remove Sebastian from the property.
Okay, how far is this? I asked that earlier about the construction site. They mentioned it, but they don't even tell us how far it is from the house.
I can't gauge. It's not far. It's in walking distance, but there's no address to that construction site at this time.
So what you trying to say? Listen, what are you trying to say? Somebody walked the child to the construction site? What are you saying?
Yeah, because they're saying that there was possibly a scent, but it could be a false scent. I don't think Sebastian was playing with flashlights. I think Mommy and Stepdaddy were, but that's just my opinion. Because he could not have rolled up to that house without anyone seeing, so he had to have gone and parked on that construction site. Mm-hmm. At least. But
see, this is the thing I always say about crazy stuff like this. What's amazing to me is that people think they won't get caught. You know, the weird thing about this story is no street lights in a really nice area, in a neighborhood. You should have street lights. So they probably took advantage of that. If I'm going to believe this is a setup, you took advantage of there weren't no street lights. You also took advantage of sitting your car at a construction site and then being seen walking. That's so risky to walk a child out off the property and then walk the child on a fucking main road, a highway, and don't think that nobody's going to walk and ask you where the fuck you're going. Ma'am, do you need some help? Ma'am, are you okay? That's crazy to me. Because people usually discard people by cars, not on foot with the victim walking with them. So you got to think about that. You're now saying she walked off the property on a main street with a fucking kid to go take to the husband and not be worried about being seen, whether they got lights out there or not. It's still dangerous and it's still risky.
Well, yeah, of course. But here's the other thing. According to what I've heard, allegedly, she works for a security company.
Now, somebody in the chat says, I still think the bio dad family took him. Well, what you gonna do with him? Think about it. You kidnap him, what you gonna do with him?
Why would you
Wait, hold on. You're gonna keep him, you're gonna keep him locked up? Because if you kidnap a person, that means you're never gonna let the person ever be out your sight. You're never gonna let the child is never gonna be able to have a decent childhood. How's that gonna work if the father took him or paid somebody to take him?
Why
You understand what I'm saying?
It can, because the bio dad was supposed to get him during the summer and ultimately have him move in during summer.
Yeah, but that don't really mean nothing when you're talking about people who are not well. People kidnap kids all the time. All I'm saying is, if you kidnap the kid, that means he's just going to have a ho-hum life. That's the point I'm trying to make. If you kidnap him, he's not going to never be able to go outside and play. He's not going to never be able to do anything. And then that means somebody's got to stay with the kid and keep him hidden. What kind of life would that be? But you do have people who are sick who, you know, do crazy shit like this. So I don't know.
No, I just think it's awfully funny how there's a lot of not so nice things about the stepfather. The only thing I can say is there's been a custody battle, and in New Mexico, I can't say the rest of it because I don't know, because most of it you can't get in.
So what?
Oh yeah, there's a custody battle.
I just said that. Listen.
Battle with the stepfather.
Listen, I just said that already. I'm trying to understand, what are you talking about? You can't get into it. What do you mean?
Because you cannot search those kind of forms, a lot of it, because
So you want to know? So what you trying to say? You just got to know? What you saying?
No, I mean, I was just looking to see what I can find, to see, like, if I hear things and then I try to get receipts on them, and if I can't find receipts, I'm just like, oh.
Tay, you probably own something too. That was my first thought. Tay says, I don't think he was kidnapped. I think the bio mom was tired of taking care of him, so when stepdad left to go to work, she had him take him.
Well, see, I thought that all along, but I was thinking maybe.
Let me tell you something.
Was there during the weekends.
It's gonna go one or two ways. They killed the baby and the father took him. He was already dead. 2, they went in the backyard to play this damn game with flashlights. He was already dead. Or a third person's involved, and she handed the boy off to the third person, and they walked down to the construction site, road, whatever. It's one of the 3. Yeah. But ain't nobody broke in, ain't nobody kidnapped them. I don't think so.
But I think the mother and the stepfather are the 2 main people.
Yeah, they're involved, I'm sure. I don't think the bio dad took them or sent somebody to get them, because then that means he's never going to let the child have a life and be seen. Then that really defeats the purpose in taking them. But like I said, people kidnap kids all the time, especially small children. They're kidnapped a lot. They have a visitation with a parent. The parent don't bring them back. Foolishly, they don't bring them back, which doesn't make any sense, because now people know you got the kid because you last had the kid. But I can't see kidnapping somebody 15, because what kind of life is that going to be for a 15-year-old? You got to take care of him any damn way. So you understand what I'm saying? You would be hiding him, and but people do get kidnapped. That I just don't think that's it. I don't think the bio dad took him.
I don't think he did, especially with that, when he was on that camera and he said, "That's my damn son."
Yeah.
And I want him back. He's mine.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I said that was a message within a message, if anybody was really listening.
Yeah.
Because we don't really know what the hell happened. But I think, just from my intuition is telling me, this flashlight business was all a ruse.
It could have been.
Could have been a ruse. Just to add to the story, to make it look like he left out or somebody called him out, and then boom, one light goes out, one light comes back, the other light's out.
Which would have had to have been premeditated, which means they knew the cameras were crappy at the back.
That's why I said that's why I found it strange that you would even be talking about it in the beginning, and now 3 weeks later, that's the new evidence that they have is, oh, hey, by the way, there was somebody back there with some flashlights. Just strange to me.
Yeah. Well, when they said they had a video and when I watched it, I was like, this means nothing.
Okay, I'm going to read Wood Fairy's comment. I think he bucked at being controlled, and the mother despised him, and one of the dads snapped, hearing he only asked for friends for Christmas broke my heart, okay? Somebody says, I'm sure the bio mom received SSI for him. I think the stepfather did something to him. Okay. The ex-wife has filed an emergency order on her kid. Okay, Jackie, thank you. Hello, Tracy. Well, I don't know what happened at this house, but I think it's interesting that you don't have any CCTV footage of the neighborhood. I think what happened is these people possibly planned this for some time. They know their area, they know their home, they know what's visible, they know what's not visible. And that's usually what people do is they try to, watch the scenery in order to make the plan and put the plan into motion. Because see, a lot of people hurry when they murder people and they don't plot it out properly, and that's how they get caught. Because the average person has doorbell cameras, security cameras. You can look at the houses and see these are very nice houses. This is not your typical neighborhood. So I would assume these people in this neighborhood have CCTV footage and doorbell cameras. They know that. So they know they can't, show back up, leave, and then show back up without somebody having a camera to say, oh, I got a camera of them coming home. They left with them, but they didn't come back with them. So that would set up the rules. Okay, somebody's got cameras. We got to think of something else crafty. Let's pretend somebody's back here playing with flashlights. And in the end, I don't know. It's still going to be wicked if the mother's back there and the child's back there. I don't know. So something don't add up.
The only thing that I can come up with is mom and stepdad were involved in getting Sebastian gone. And not only that, according to the bio dad, he was going to take Sebastian at the end of the summer. So, what's to say it's one of these, if I can't have them, you're not getting them either, kind of thing.
Well, I hadn't heard nothing about him taking them at the end of the summer.
He said in one of the reports, I don't know if it was with Pascal or if it was, it might have been.
So what do you mean taking them?
Remember.
You mean filing for custody?
He said that Sebastian was supposed to come with him at summertime, and he was ultimately going to be living with him full time after.
Well, she could have got rid of him for financial reasons, if that's true.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a check, like somebody said, possibly was getting an SSI check. She didn't want that income to leave her house because 9 times out of 10, they're not paying $1,000 in a mortgage at that house. They're probably paying $2,000+ more, $1,000 a month for mortgage plus bills.
Yeah,
so
almost a $700,000 house.
So anyway, maybe she said to herself, well, he wants custody. I need that money. I don't know. But I'm kind of like Tay-Tay. I can see her getting tired of dealing with an autistic kid because you see it all the time. Developmental children and grown-ups end up missing, end up beat up, end up abused because the people get tired of taking care of them.
Not only that, how many men that are not their biological father really want to deal with these kids?
Well, they don't want to deal with them when there ain't nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
So for all we know, both got tired of dealing with them.
I'm not even looking at, him being autistic. I'm thinking, he's not my kid. What is he doing in my house kind of thing.
Okay, somebody's talking about a life insurance policy. Well, the body has to show up in order to get the life insurance. Can't be missing. That's most state laws. You got to have a body to collect, and you definitely can't be the suspect if it's homicide.
And life insurance is not public knowledge, so we'll never really know that.
Okay, so Country says the father got full custody and was moving soon when school let out. Okay. Strange. So then that puts a whole different spin. That puts a whole different spin on the story. If it's true that he wanted custody and the kid was going to be going to live, maybe the mother said, well, like I said, she only wanted to keep him for monetary gain. Spite the father.
I thought about that too.
She did it to spite the father and to keep her pockets full. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. This is why they don't want to talk anymore, because all this stuff getting out, he said, she said stuff, and they probably decided, well, we're just gonna quit talking altogether. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think no matter what they do, everyone's already looking at him guilty. So,
Yeah, but the thing about kidnappings and missing children, missing people, there's always that possibility that it's not what you think it is, because we have been wrong in assuming somebody hurt somebody. And I always bring up the case in Georgia. A lot of us thought that daughter had something to do with that mother being found in the woods, and the daughter allegedly had nothing to do with it. So I always try to tread lightly in accusing somebody of hurting a kid or hurting, an adult. You could be with an abusive man, abusive woman, person goes missing, you're assuming it's that husband, wife, boyfriend, and then you later find out they're not the suspect. There's that rare chance it's not them. This case, I don't know, it's just something about the flashlights is soft to me.
And not only that, all the doors and windows were locked. So, there was no sign of a break-in, no sign of, cut screens or anything like that. So
I can't see anybody want an autistic child anyway. I'm just gonna be truthful. I'm not trying to be funny. But most people don't want their own autistic children. So I don't see a random stranger wanting them. I'm just being truthful. They don't want them. If they want them, it'd be for nefarious reasons. It would not be for, you understand what I'm saying? Because it takes a lot of work dealing with an autistic child. So that's what makes most people probably think this is personal.
I just can't help but look at the mom and the stepdad.
Well, let's talk about. Well, go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, statistics say most of the time it's in your own home or a family member.
Well, that article I read, the stepfather says we have all been vetted, checked, and we are not suspects. How do you feel about that comment?
I don't know about that comment.
Well, I read it in an article. Well, I'll ask the chat, how do you all feel about the comment that the stepdad says they are not suspects? He, the wife, and the bio father. They've cooperated. They've given information. They've been vetted. They've been cleared. Those were his words in the article.
I believe that when the police come out and say that. Because there's something about him that just isn't right. I don't know if he's just that kind of person or if...
What about him? You don't know him. So what is it about him that's strange to you to make you think he did something to the child? I'm just saying. What has he done or said for you to think he did something?
I don't know. It's just the way he acts.
Okay.
In the first interview, the second interview, and there's just something about him that doesn't sit right with me.
In the chat, do you all believe these people have been cleared by the police as suspects? Do you believe that? That'll be my poll on my community page.
I would have to say no, because when they cleared, like Michael Vaughn's parents, they came out and said that they were not suspects. They were cleared.
Has the police cleared these parents? Tay says no. Right. I haven't heard it from law officials. And as I brought you information today, they said it could be foul play, could not be. Mm-hmm.
And then my other big thing is a 15-year-old child just does not vanish.
Okay, 3 people are saying no, they don't believe that they have been cleared. Right. And the police aren't going to tell you that anyway, because it's, one, a current investigation, and they don't want to do anything to push anybody over. They don't want anybody coming back saying, you know, why are you telling the public I'm a suspect? So they know to keep their mouths closed on who they think is involved in the disappearance of this baby, this boy.
Yeah. And if I heard correctly, it's a criminal investigation. But they're not saying who they're investigating.
Well, it would be a criminal case if you believe he's murdered.
I just think he's been gone too long, so.
So the dog picked up a scent at this construction site, allegedly. You got this EMT director talking about he wished the child walked past where they searched. That's just an odd statement to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange. Because my thing is, usually a scent stops because something stopped right there, such as they got in a car, they got in a van. See where I'm going?
Exactly.
If it stopped at the construction site, it's because he got in a vehicle. If that's where the scent actually stopped.
Well, that's why I'm thinking mom or stepdad lured him out through the backyard, or they carried him out and took him to the construction site and put him in a vehicle.
Let me talk to Country for a minute. Country, if you don't trust that you think there's something off with the stepdad, 5 marriages, 5 mistakes, think about what you're saying now. You're saying something off with him. He killed this kid. Then what the fuck is he getting ready to do with this child that he's fighting for? Think about what you're saying now. You're going to kill this kid for whatever reason, but you're going to go fight for your own kid? Common sense will tell all of us he don't need no children. Period. Because if you can kill this kid, you can kill your own.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they wouldn't. Yes, you would, because you're crazy as hell. And if you can easily be manipulated in your own brain to murder a child, whether you thought they were rambunctious, they were wayward, too much work, who's to say that down the road you would feel the same about your own child? Because a lot of people think, well, they favor their own kids and blah, blah, blah. You're a sadist. There's something wrong with you. You're a psychopath. So if you kill your a neighbor's kid, you'll kill your stepchild, you'll definitely kill your own because you're not right in the head. See, that's the lies that people tell themselves. Well, I love mine. I favor mine over her child, his child. But you're crazy to take the life of a child, period. Because a child is just that, a child. I don't care if they are wayward, they're acting out. I mean, your child would just have to be a straight demon seed for it to ever get to the point where you feel like you have to murder your own kids. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Somebody says they said the dog didn't hit on a scent. Now it's changed. I don't know. Exactly, Tay-Tay. What he did to Harmony Montgomery. Exactly. Yeah. Right. That's somebody who didn't need children. You murdered Harmony, you would murder your other children. You would do the same thing if they allegedly was pee-peeing and boo-booing on themselves. You would do the same. Because you're the same person. See, I don't believe in that shit about favoritism. Oh, he favored this kid more. You're still sick. You're still a wacko. You're a wacko. You kill a kid, there's something wrong with you. Because it's not that serious. Because I don't know what happened in his house. I don't really know the dynamic of the relationship between the Proudfoots and the relationship with the boy child. I don't know if the boy child was happy or not. I don't know. But what I do know, there's no CCTV footage of this boy roaming around, luring around, talking to anybody. There's no footage of cars being parked, hanging around. And that's where you have the problem. You don't even have anything to show you lured, run away, something. Exactly. It's too strange. But it's not to say he couldn't have walked out. It's not to say he couldn't have, wanted to get out with his flashlight. and play a game. But what's odd is now allegedly 2 people are out there in that yard with a flashlight. So if I'm to believe that he's one of the people, then who is the other person with the flashlight? And why do you only have one coming back in, which I'm assuming that means the house, and the other one ain't?
Exactly.
That's a problem for me. Then that makes me believe the child was either hurt outside by that one person with the flashlight, or there's a third party lying in wait. I don't know.
Exactly.
Very strange. You have anything else you want to say before I check out of here?
No. No, I think I'm good.
What, you have anything you want to add pertaining to the first story of Mr. Get these names mixed up. Riley.
Riley, okay, my thought is he was not seen past or going across the Jefferson Street Bridge. Like, that's the last area of footage. My thought is he was put in a car.
Mm-hmm.
Where they took him, what they did with him, and who did it, I do not know.
Mm-hmm.
Because he should have turned up by now.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you feel about this one drink served to him?
I don't know that that's the truth because, okay, maybe they're going on what he purchased, but what's to say he was not, other people were not purchasing drinks for him?
That's true. That's very true. How about he was drunk when he got there?
I don't know because they're not giving us the rest of the evening.
Well, the mother told that. The mother said he was at other bars before that. The mother already said that.
But the mother also said that he was fine when she talked to him an hour or an hour and a half before.
Yeah. Well, you know, it don't take long to get drunk.
No.
So me talking to you 1 or 2 times don't mean I wasn't just, you know, already getting a buzz. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, but one drink, I don't think that's going to...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he probably was already loaded when he got there. Because you're not just bar hopping for nothing. Going from bar to bar, I refuse to believe you're only drinking water.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt they all were loaded when they got to Loop 32.
Yeah.
Now, was he drugged or he drunk too much? I don't know. But that's the whole point. You got to have footage to show what they drank at the other bars. How many bars did they go to? Then you got to have footage of what he drank at Loop 32. You got to have footage to show you how he was behaving. See, it's hearsay at this point, and I don't do that hearsay shit.
And I don't think the bar is going to try and release that video unless they absolutely have to, but they will release it to the Alcohol Administration and the police. But I don't know if they'll let it.
Yeah, but they'll release it. The police will release what was in that video. Because people need to see what he was doing that got him outside. Because see, as long as you bring an allegation, people want to see the proof in it. Because I can tell you anything without showing you the proof. Okay. And that's why I said everybody involved's got something to lose. The owner got something to lose. The management company got something to lose. The manager inside the bar got something to lose. The bartender got something to lose. The friends, they got something to lose because you were with them. So people are going to want to see, well, show us what he looked like when he walked in. Was he stumbling and fumbling when he walked in? Okay? Let's see how many times he had a drink in his hand. Let's see what he looked like when you brought him down the stairs. Footage of him outside the building. What I don't understand about the story is why the fuck he didn't stay near the building. That's baffling to me. You don't know where you at. Let's say you're loaded. Why would you start walking off? This is weird to me, especially if you don't know where you at. I don't understand it. I'll try to make myself understand. I don't understand it.
When they put him out,
Hey, JR.
They were standing there, so they heard the conversation between him and his buddies. So what? Were the buddies supposed to come back out?
We don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's all a version. First, you all were talking about he went out the back door. Then I read today it was the side door. Now today it's they walked him down the steps out the front door. See what I'm saying?
There's only 2 doors to that building.
Well, listen. I'm gonna say it again. They said they walked him out the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the point I'm trying to make. You don't know what's the truth unless you have it on video. This is why I don't ever bank on nothing said in a story, because I know it's going to change. And now you got 3 different doors. Back, side, and front. Friend walked down, but then friend walked back up. Guard says, bouncer, you can't stand out here. But yet, when I showed you video earlier, there's nothing but people hanging outside the damn bar, walking and standing and talking. So I wouldn't have left. I would have moved over to the next business, and I'd have told the bouncer, look, I'm not from here. I'm drunk. You've kicked me out. I'm waiting on my friends. Yeah. This is a public street. I can wait here. If the police want to escort me, then fine. But so long as he wasn't making no trouble, I'm going to stand here. And that's what I don't, see, we don't know what the fuck was said. Yeah. It pisses me off because I hate all this chitter chatter and you're not getting the whole truth about what was said, what was done. So now I asked the company, do you not have cameras on the front of the building to show us him walking out, and if he stood out, conversation with the bouncer, or he walked directly from the building and crossed that street? I don't know. It's weird to me.
And see, that side door is right next to that street that he crossed. The crosswalk that he went across, when he crossed the street, that door that they said in the beginning was the back door, is supposedly the door that he crossed, or the street that he crossed. So I don't know.
And what also is jacked up is the friends aren't saying anything. So people really want them to talk now to corroborate this version of going down the stairs with him out the front door, and then you walk back up. So people are going to say, well, what was the conversation while going down the stairs? Hey man, stand outside. We're gonna be right down. We're gonna pay our tabs. Or did they even come out after paying tabs? Did they come out 5 minutes later, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later? Now the version's going from 9:35 he left to now he left at 10 o'clock. See, all that's important because you need a timeline of when he got out, how long he waited, or if he went straight across the street, this direction, that direction, in front of the street, in front of the building. It's all over the place right now.
Yeah. And
all this shit about phone pings and bridges and rivers, and it's out of control now.
And they're
it's
not even
ridiculous.
telling us when they got there. Like they have no time of when they all got there.
And another thing that's jacked up, he's talking to somebody in front of a police precinct. Does that make any sense?
No.
So he don't think to walk in there. He never thought to sit down. He never thought to sit on the park bench. That's in the video. He's walking all around town in a daze, but yet he's holding a conversation at a precinct, walking by a precinct, talking to somebody. They don't tell you who that somebody is. That person ain't come forward to tell us what he was talking about with them. You don't hear that they called him a lot of times. He called any of them, or if the person he was talking to was one of the guys. All of it is vague.
And all he had to do was walk into another business and ask them, can you point me in the right direction of my hotel?
That's the reason why he should have never left that fucking sidewalk. He should have went to the business next door. Hi, I'm staying at Tempo. Can you point me in the direction of that hotel? That's all he had to do.
It wasn't that far away.
Because that's why I don't understand what actually happened. And why is he walking around and he realized he's not well? And God forbid he hit his head, fell. Now you're in worse of a state because he could have been bleeding. Don't really know. Couldn't tell if he's bleeding or not. Why would I still keep walking? And now I've hit my head. I've fallen and I've hit my head perhaps. This is just strange to me. All of this, his behavior is strange to me.
And see, that's the other thing. When he fell and it looks like he hit his head, I'm wondering if his phone was damaged. And maybe that's why the ping stopped.
The phone couldn't have been damaged, honey, because he was talking on the phone at 11 o'clock. Allegedly. Remember? They said, listen, just listen. They said he talked to a friend in front of the precinct, remember?
Yeah.
So.
But the precinct goes the other way, though.
But that ain't got nothing to do with him talking to somebody, Hagen. Don't matter where he was, he's talking to somebody.
Or someone's using the phone.
You're not listening. Somebody said they talked to somebody. That he talked to somebody. So that means that person had to have told that he had a conversation, that they had a conversation with him.
See, that's the other thing. If they want him found, why don't they stop playing this like Swiss cheese and fill in the holes for us?
Yeah, because they said he talked to somebody. He had a whole conversation. That's why I asked early in the live, well, then who is that person, and why hasn't that person come forward to say what was said during the conversation?
Yeah, because if they fill in these holes, that might be able to help find him faster.
Because remember they said we chased them through Snapchat?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the precinct and the phone conversation comes in at.
But that was after the last sighting by the bridge. But that sighting just doesn't make the timeline doesn't make sense.
Well, this is how I look at it. It's gone from 9:35 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then 9:40's also been mentioned. So you're getting a whole lot of different times of when he actually left the bar. So I don't know what's the truth. 9:35, 9:40, 10 o'clock, something about 11 o'clock. He's talking to somebody. So that's a whole hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, I don't believe he was just walking for no 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
No, he was walking. It seemed like he was kind of walking in circles.
That's why I said, why didn't he sit down somewhere? That's why I said this whole story makes no sense to me. And I just refuse to believe somebody is just drunk that they don't think to sit down. This is just bizarre to me.
Or walk in another business and ask them where to show them or direct them in the right.
Well, because there's a business directly next door to Loop 32. I saw the lights in the window on the video today. So all he had to do was walk out and then go look and see this business and go inside because it's still early. So go inside and ask the people, hey, do you know where, Hotel Tempo is? And see if they would, guide him in the right direction. All this wandering around and stuff is just, I don't know why he would do that. I'm starting to wonder, like I said earlier, if he was upset. Because see, you don't know how long he stood out. Hold on. You don't know how long he stood outside after they told him to get out. For all we know, he waited out there for a while and the guys never came out. He got an attitude and then started wandering off.
Yeah, because we don't know when he got there and we don't really know when they put him out, really.
Well, you got 3 different
times.
Or
what had gone on in the bar.
Well, you got 3 slots, 9:35, 9:40, and 10 o'clock. And allegedly they were paying a tab. They said they got down and they were separated. That was a comment made here recently. So I'm trying to understand, what do you mean separated if he's already out? But now here comes the issue of, well, we were paying our tab. So then you have to ask yourself, did they tell him to wait? Hey, go downstairs and wait. We'll be down in a minute after we pay our tab. See, we don't even know what the conversation is.
Yeah.
And with all this hoopla, they're not going to sit here and tell us probably the truth. If they really hung longer, you're going to have that CCTV footage.
Well, not only that, they decided to wait 16 hours to report him missing.
And that's all bizarre to me. Because you don't hear nothing about the hotel. You don't hear anything about going to the front desk. You don't hear anything about asking anybody, did he return? You don't hear if they roomed with him or not, who roomed with him, or he had his own separate room. You don't hear that, hey, we called his phone. I think I did hear they say something about they called his phone, but that's the only thing I really hear is about they called the phone. But that doesn't really mean anything to me, because then the flip side is that they said, oh, we looked for him for 9 hours. So that's bullshit.
Yeah, you know they didn't look for him for 9 hours. They're a bunch of drunk guys wandering the town.
So then you got to ask that question. What time did they come out of the bar, and where did they go after that? Did they go directly to the hotel, or they went somewhere else? I think they said they went back to the hotel, if I'm not mistaken, because I read a lot of stuff today.
Well, and see, that's the other thing. When they got back there, why didn't they realize that he was not there and then decide to call the police and say, look, we're having a problem. We're from out of town.
Well, I think it's strange that they didn't call when they got back to the hotel, whatever time that was. If we don't even know what time they got back to the hotel.
Yeah, but 911, it doesn't matter what time.
And I haven't heard anything about a key. Well, I could see them waiting until they got back to the hotel if they assume that's where he went. Because in their mind, he's loaded. So where else could he have gone but back to the hotel? So I could see them saying, okay, he ain't outside. Let's get back to the hotel and go from there.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense, but apparently, I'm starting to think boys don't have any sense.
Huh? Say what?
I'm starting to think these boys didn't have any sense.
Well, that's the whole point. Guys don't think like women. They never have. That's the reason why men and women don't get along. It's because we don't navigate the same. We don't think logically the same. A lot of men grow up doing shit by the seat of their pants, fly-by-nighters. They just do. They don't think, they worry later. That's the reason why they're always caught up in drama. And some females and women, they're the same. They don't use no discretion. They don't think about a worst case scenario. They don't think about down the road. And I got a feeling that's how a lot of them probably navigate it. We'll get out there when we get out there. If he's there, he's there. If he ain't, he ain't. See, because you don't even know the conversation that they had with him in the bar when he was told to get out. You don't know what was said with the friend walking down the stairs. You don't know what was really said by the bouncer. You don't know how long he waited outside or he just started walking. But what doesn't make sense to me, at some point in his mind outside the place, why is he walking and wandering? That's where I have a problem. Because I don't know what happened on the inside. And his family is saying they ain't worried about what went on in the inside. Okay, so outside, why is he wandering? Because if I don't feel good, I feel sick, I'm drunk, I'm sleepy, I'm tired, God forbid I've been drugged, I speak for myself. I'm not getting ready to be wandering around the fucking street and I don't know where the hell I am.
Nope. If anything, I'm going to sit down and wait for somebody to ask.
And that's what he should have done. He should have went next door and asked somebody, can you tell me where Tempo Hotel is? All this could have been avoided had he asked somebody for help. All you see is him just walking around, head bent over, look like he's touching his head and stuff. It's all bizarre behavior. Yeah. For somebody that should have enough sense to say, let me ask somebody, where is my hotel? I don't understand that.
And not only that, it looked like some people were gawking at him anyway, so, you know.
Evie, that's the whole point of this story. Everybody should have some cameras.
Yes.
Every bar he went should have cameras. Luke 32 should have cameras. Okay? Hotels should have cameras. But that's the reason why you know there's some bullshit to the story, because the friends are not speaking publicly now. And I won't doubt that we'll look up and we'll find out they got lawyers. Because you know the restaurant, they're gonna have a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because who's to say they did give him more than one drink? He was drunk when he walked into Luke 32. I'm not going to sit here in my right mind at 53 and believe he was sober when he walked into that damn bar, because they had already been bar hopping. Mm-hmm. So you don't know how early they could have started their drinking spells.
Yeah. And he could have been a one drinker, like had a drink and 2 waters at each place. We don't know.
He could have been drugged. Yes. Hello, Magic. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that 2 waters thing?
Yeah.
I can believe the 2 waters if you're not feeling well.
Well, that's usually what people do when they drink. I mean, everybody different. I don't drink water when I drink because I don't just start guzzling. I take just a little bit of in a flask, and I only drink what's in the flask. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm done. I rarely go to a bar and buy a drink for drink. So him having the 2 waters would make me believe he was already drunk.
Or not feeling well.
Because I see that, and I have water on their table, on their bar with them. And usually when I start seeing people drinking a lot of water, more than one, they've already feeling quite tipsy.
Yeah.
Now, some might start drinking in between to mask the buzz, not to get so toe up. Now, some people drink that way. They drink water in between their drinks. It just depends on the person. See, I don't know him to say if he was, loaded down and then he was drinking water, or he was drinking water periodically. See, I don't know him to say. But I do believe he was probably already buzzed when he got to Luke 32. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say he was.
Yes, if they were bar hopping, yes.
Yeah, because you're talking about maybe 2 to 3 bars. There's no way in your right mind you're going to think he wasn't buzzed when he got to that last place. If indeed that's the last place. Maybe last for him. We don't know if that's the last place for them. See, we don't know that they actually went straight home.
And we do not know what they were drinking either.
Right. It was beer, right. Straight liquor, mixed drink. Exactly. Will we find out he drank more than one drink at that place? Could it be he went to another part of the bar and had another drink by another bartender, and they only asked the one bartender what they served him? How many drinks did he have at Luke 32? Was he drunk when he got to Luke 32? How many bartenders served him? Did he drink from somebody else's cup or beer? Was he inebriated when he got to Luke 32? How many bars did they go to? What was the conversation when he got barred out? What did the friend say to him going down the stairs? What did the doorman say to him? Why did you not want to let the man stand outside and wait? Because that's his downfall, is not standing outside that damn place. Because he could have stood a little ways over from that place. Because it's like a circular building on a corner. He could have sat next door, made sure to watch the door for his friends to come out, hollered, "Hey, I'm over here," and he'd be safe and sound. That's his mistake, was leaving from that location.
Yes.
And I honestly believe that. And that's where I'm trying to figure out how in the world he deviated from the building. I'm trying to understand this. Hello, country. Thank you.
The only thing that I could think of is he went the opposite direction. Like, instead of going one way, he went the other, and like he got turned around somehow.
But you're going to get turned around when you sit up and realize he's inebriated. And he doesn't know where he's at. That's not his town. He's not from there. So hell yeah, that could happen to anybody. You get turned around when you're sober. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You're looking at everything and you're sitting there telling yourself, okay, well, I think the place is over here, or I think it's over here. You get turned around in a car. You can get turned around on foot. What's worse is turned around on foot. Because now it's dark. You don't know anybody. That's not what you want, is to be wandering around fucking city streets and don't know where the hell you are.
And we don't know what the conversation with the bouncer was, or the people that put him out. So, I mean, because for me, I'd be like, hey, can I ask you a question? Which way is my hotel?
I would have been asked that. That's why I'm trying to understand who he is and what his demeanor is to where he would think to himself, I'm not going to ask anybody for help. So now you got to ask what the conversations were like with the homeless people. What were they talking about? Because now at this point, he's doing excessive walking.
Yeah.
And he's talking to these people. And that's probably how he got himself hoodwinked. He was saying, I'm sick, I don't feel good, I don't know where I'm at, my friends left me, blah, blah, blah. Hey, can you help me get over here? And somebody probably said to him, hey, you got a few dollars? Give me some money, I'll tell you how to get there. See what I'm saying? You don't know what happened. But I'm sure somebody got a hold of him and took advantage of him. Either that or he's somewhere passed out. And by now, I mean, we've heard of stories of people, you know, being in caves and mountain trips and woods and surviving for 10 days, 20 days with no food, no water. But I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case with him, though.
Dehydration would have set in.
Anything else you'd like to say before I wrap it up?
No, I think I'm good.
JB's in here. JB says grimy friends. Are they grimy? Because
they gotta be, because they weren't looking out for him. But women are different than men. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, when I first started talking about this story, I would read the comments, you know, below the videos. And some men would say, you know, it's not my responsibility to babysit you. I'm out to have a good time too. And I can't have a good time if I'm watching you and babysitting you. So see, everything is about perception. You got to know who, one, Riley is. You got to, two, know the company he was keeping, how good of friends he was with them, or were, or are. See, all that's going to matter. So if you scratch whatever the fuck happened in that bar and you take it back to the hotel, that's where I would get leery. It's the fact that you're now saying you searched for him for 9 hours. Where's the proof to that? I don't believe nobody searched for nobody drunk for 9 hours. I don't believe that. And why you waited so long to call, because you should have known really when you got back to the hotel, he wasn't there. And that's why I asked, did they share rooms? Because if he shared a room with another guy, the other guy, when he walked into his room, he saw his bed is made up and he ain't in it. And that's when he should have called the other guys and said, hey, we got a problem. Riley's not in his room. Riley's not in that other bed.
Exactly. And he's not answering his phone. We got to call somebody.
Somebody in the chat says another missing 15-year-old from Glasgow, Kentucky. Okay, thank you. Well, country, I did mention, you know, that one was assaulted in a park in Nashville, a 15-year-old boy. So I don't know if this is something going on. That's why I said you have to be very careful before we start pointing fingers, saying that the parents did something, because what if we do have a sadist out here looking for boys?
Yeah.
You know, we might have us a John Wayne Gacy repeat or a Jeffrey Dahmer type situation going on where you're out here seeking men and boys, because you do have pedophiles and they work areas and they can drive from place to place. And the best way not to get caught is to go outside your jurisdiction, quite frankly.
Yeah.
To go outside your jurisdiction. So we might have somebody just roaming around looking for boy children, reaching out to boy children. I don't know. All right.
On the Riley thing, you know, you got to also look, they were only in their early 20s, so they weren't that skilled or.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're young people, and young people make mistakes. We all have been young.
I think.
We've done stupid stuff. We've trusted people. That's what I'm saying. This is how people get caught up. You talking to the wrong people. You're getting in the wrong car. You're catching rides with people. You got a flat tire. You let the wrong person tow your car. You get in the car to go get gas or get to the filling station. Now they're taking you down another road. Now they're assaulting you. Now they're choking you. You don't know people. That's the point. And when you're drinking, it's worse because your defenses are down. So this is a recipe for disaster, and it's also a lesson learned that if you're in a group of people, you all need to make a pact that we're going to look after each other and monitor each other. And if one of us gets crunk or stupid, we're going to make sure that person gets back to their hotel safely. That's why you got to know the company you're in, because one bad apple can ruin a whole night. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't know how good of these friends were to him. Many are going to say that they were not. And, you know, and you're entitled to your opinion. But like I said, you have to know Riley and you have to know these guys. Yeah. Because when guys are drinking, a lot of them are not worrying about what the other guy's doing. One's over here in the corner flirting with Susie. Another one's over here on the dance floor. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if the place had a lot of different rooms and floors, they could have been all over the place.
6 floors, 8 bars, and a rooftop.
Yeah, so if you're talking about a lot of rooms, we can't even really say they all were together at Luke 32. So you also got to focus on that as well. They possibly could have been separated. And that right there is going to be your problem. They were separated.
Yeah, they weren't doing the buddy system, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, the thing about it, if it's got 5, 6 different rooms, I might want to be over here and you might want to be over there. You can't get mad because somebody wants to go to another room.
Yeah.
That, you know, that's the whole purpose of being in a bar that's got different bars and floors. I want to listen to hip hop. I want to listen to country music. I want to go over here and listen to salsa, you know, whatever the hell he had going on. Or I want to go over here and try, the rooftop. Everybody might not be in queue to do the same thing together. And that's dangerous when you got one that's pissy drunk.
That's why I say if you're going to drink, do it at home.
Yeah, but that's not realistic for young people. Come on now. You know, young people like to go out. You got older people like to go out. I'm just saying.
I mean, when you have a decent buddy system, or you can trust. Then you can trust the people.
But see, and that's probably what happened here. He probably thought he could trust them. He probably did think he could trust them, but he couldn't. And then the flip side is we don't really know what he was doing in there. Maybe he was coming on to a girl. She got mad. She went and told somebody, because that shit happens. Go get the bartender. Go tell the bouncer, hey, this guy's saying ugly things to me, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, they're saying, okay, sir, you're drunk. We want you to leave.
Yeah.
And there you have it. And now he's escorted out and he's not with his company. And then let's say he stood out there for a while and he's waiting. For all we know, he did call them. Hey, what's taking you so long? He could have texted, hey, what's taking you so long? And nobody called back. Could that be the situation? He stood outside and waited and the guys didn't come back. He called their phones, they didn't answer. And he got angry. Because I think maybe he got angry and he took off. Pissed off. Okay? He got pissed off because it took him too long to come downstairs. And the fact that on one video you see Riley running, that's bizarre to me. Why would he be running across a sidewalk? Because that was a whole sidewalk in front of a parking lot. Running for what? You're drunk. Why are you running?
Because there was nobody behind him, it didn't look like.
See, but you don't know who could have said something to him down the block. Could have been some guys fucking with him. Hey, drunkie, woo, woo, woo. Hey, give me $2, give me $1. See, you don't know. Somebody could have ran up to him and tried to steal his wallet, anything, see? Because people are watching you to see what you are doing. Exactly, Lolo. So many scenarios. I don't doubt that somebody was fucking with him on that sidewalk before we saw him running. Because there's no reason for a drunk person to take off running. Somebody was saying something to him.
Yeah.
And they could have walked up to him. Could have been a female and a guy, could have been a group of guys, nitpicking. Could have been somebody, could have been a homeless person saying, hey, I need $5. Hey, I need $2.
Or the bouncer could have come back out and told him to get out, get away from the building.
Well, but I'm not going to run. Why would I run? But something happened on that sidewalk, and I believe somebody approached him, and maybe he feared for his safety, and that's why he took off running. Hey, let me get away from these people. But then as he's running, the next thing you know, he's turning around like he's confused. It's like you just don't really know what to think because you just don't have a play-by-play of him coming out of that building and then walking down the street, crossing the street. This is where we have the problem. This is just bad. Hey, Pinto, this is bad. And I fear the worst at this point because now it's nighttime. Let's see, my clock. Almost 9:30 Eastern time. They're an hour behind us. It's almost 8:30 Nashville time. This is probably the time they were getting crunk, having a good time. And little did any of these guys know they were going to be immersed in a missing person story the next day.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you later, honey. All right, everybody. That's Hagen from North Carolina, one of the fans. Thank you all so much for joining me. This live stream is pertaining to Sebastian Rodgers. Near the end, we're talking about Riley Strain, who's missing from Nashville, Tennessee. Please check out that last live stream. This is bad. We now have new information pertaining to Sebastian. Somebody was in that backyard with flashlights. Don't know if it was him, the mother, the father, the sister, the brother, the cousin. I don't know what the hell's going on with this case. This case is stressing me out just as much as this Riley Strain case. But somebody knows something pertaining to this 15-year-old kid. Now, I don't know if this is an issue of somebody didn't want to be bothered with the kid, tired of raising him, set up, make it look like he walked out, was playing with a flashlight, but already deceased, third party waiting out there in the yard as well to take him on to the construction site. I don't know, but it's all bizarre. Shoes accounted for, went outside barefoot, allegedly, with the flashlight. Is this a setup? Is the mother making all this shit up? Was this a setup by the mother, the stepfather? Is this the bio father trying to get back at the mother? You got to weigh all options, because in the end, we don't know these people. Is there a sadist out here looking for 15-year-old boys? I don't know, but it's all very sick and macabre, because I'm thinking the worst has happened to Sebastian Rogers, and I'm also thinking the worst has happened to a 22-year-old Missouri student, Riley Strain. Because when you start going a couple days, a week, 3 weeks, you're going to think the worst. So I don't know what exactly going on. Well, see, I don't know, Tay-Tay. This happened at 3 in the morning. And I also found that strange that the mother felt like he was missing between 12 and 6. My thing is, how do you know when he went missing? You'd have to say he went to bed at 12. And then I woke him up at 6. So maybe that's where she's getting her time frame from. He went missing between 12 and 6 a.m. He went to bed at 12, and I woke him up, or attempted to wake him up at 6. So that's where she's getting that time frame from. But this flashlight business is at 3 in the morning, and that's a time when he should have been asleep in his bed. So I don't know, like I said, if this is a ruse to try to throw the story, the narrative, make police think that he got lured out or he went out to meet somebody. But the point is, somebody came back with a flashlight toward that house. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but this is a weird, weird story. Yes, it is. It's fishy. Did this lady plot to kill her kid, plot to kill the kid with the stepfather? The stepfather is in a legal battle, custody battle in another jurisdiction. Could it be he wanted to go get that child and bring him here and didn't want to take care of this child anymore? Or did the mother get mad because allegedly the bio dad's supposed to be getting that son, Sebastian, and she wouldn't be getting the SSI check or monies for him? I don't know. I don't know where to take this. It's all baffling to me, but when I get an update, I will bring it to you. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below, take the polls on my community page. I also put breaking news on there and updated stories. Movie of the week is Stepdaughter on Tubi. And also, guess who? It's a horror movie. It's also playing on Tubi. Thank you for joining me. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $$BigAngie129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Welcome, Tay-Tay's mom. Thank you so much. All new subscribers and viewers. That's all I got, honey. If stepdad was in another city 3 hours away, it only leaves mom. Well, Tay-Tay, you don't really know. See, that's the point. You don't really know what went on. You don't know who's all involved. You don't know if the child was already dead in the evening and the daddy left and took the child with him to dispose of the child. See, you just don't know because, see, I haven't heard what time that the father left. So, see, all that's important because allegedly they went out that day. So you need to know what time each person left the house. Is there footage showing each person returning to the house with the child? See, all that's important. And we ain't got that yet. I just believe this flashlight shit, it's a ruse. This is a setup to say he went outside or he went out to play a game or he hooked up with somebody and they had flashlight game or something. Because she's the first person to mention the flashlight. Flashlight and no shoes. She's the first one to mention it. And now, all of a sudden, we have information about flashlights in the backyard. And one thing we've learned about true crime is that sometimes the killers will give you a little tea they tell on themselves. They don't know they're telling on themselves, but sometimes they do. Yeah, no timeline for the father. Stepdad said he had been away for 2 weeks before this happened. Okay, well, he may have been. Yeah, but the point is, where was he that day on that Sunday? What time did he leave for work to go back to Memphis? That's what's important. What time did he leave the house to go back? What's the business about the construction site and the dog scent? All that's important. Flashlights, who had them back there? Was there another person lying in wait to help aid this crime? I don't know. I'm lost at this point. I really am lost. But I thank you all for following this network, and I'll be back with more content and updates pertaining to Riley Strain and Sebastian Rogers. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.